Jai Shri Ram. Now it is the turn of Canto 112. The summary. Collected in the heavens to hear the dialogue of Bharat and Sri Ram, heavenly beings applauded the two brothers. Having decided upon his course of action, Sri Ram turns his face towards his hut while pleading his inability to protect the kingdom now that his attempts to take Sri Ram back to Ayodhya had been frustrated. Bharat prays to Sri Ram for mercy once more. But when he comes to know that his elder brother cannot be made to sever an inch from his vow, he places a new pair of wooden sandals decked with gold in front of his brother and requests him to place his feet on them. Readily acceding to his request, Sri Ram hands over the sandals to Bharat, who takes a vow before the former to enter the fire in case he did not return immediately on the expiry of his term of exile. Sri Ram confirms his vow and after embracing Bharat and Shatrughan and bidding goodbye to all with due respect according to the rank of each, enters his cottage. Now we start the chapter. The eminent sages who had assembled there were astonished to behold at close quarters that thrilling meeting of the two brothers Sri Ram and Bharat, who were endowed with matchless glory. Hosts of sages who stood invisible in the air and most eminent rishis bodily present there applauded in the following words those two highly blessed brothers Sri Ram and Bharat, the scions of Kakushta. Ever noble are the two princes, Sri Ram and Bharat, who not only know what is right but also tread the path of virtue. Indeed, having heard the dialogue of the two, we long to hear it again and again. Then the hosts of rishis, for their part, who longed for the death of Ravan, hastily addressed with one voice the following exhortation to Bharat, a tiger among princes. O prince of high birth, nay, endowed with exceptional intelligence, distinguished by a noble conduct and enjoying great renown, the advice of Sri Ram ought to be accepted by you if you have the least regard for your father. We wish to see Sri Ram absolved forever from all obligations to his father, for due to his getting square with Kaikeyi as a result of Sri Ram's having readily offered to be in exile, King Dashrath has ascended to heaven. Having uttered these few words, the Gandharvas, along with the eminent sages as well as the royal sages and all others, went each his own way. Gladdened by this observation, Sri Ram, blessed of blessed appearance, looked brighter, nay, his face thrilled with joy. He duly extolled the aforesaid rishis. The celebrated Bharat, for his part, whose limbs were seized with a tremor, made the following submission to Sri Ram, a sign of Raghu, with folded hands in faltering accents. Fully considering, O Ram, this sacred obligation of getting yourself consecrated for the rulership of Ayodhya and protecting the people, which is also linked with our family usage, you ought to fulfill it, O sign of Kakushta, and grant my prayer as well as that of your mother Kaushalya. I, for my part, cannot protect the vast dominion single-handed, nor can I please the citizens of the people of the countryside so devoted to you. Indeed, our kinsmen, nay, warriors, friends, and relations too, wait for you alone, as cultivators do for the rumbling cloud. Accepting the kingdom, O highly intelligent brother, actually place it on a sound footing. Such as you are capable of protecting the people on all sides, O sign of Kakushta. So, saying so, Bharat then fell at the feet of his elder brother and made a fervent appeal to him to accept the sovereignty, speaking in most endearing tones to Sri Ram, a sign of Raghu. Placing on his lap the aforesaid brother, Bharat, who was dark brown of complexion and had eyes resembling the petals of a lotus, Sri Ram, who was himself endowed with a voice resembling the cackling of a swan in rut, replied to him as follows: You can very well protect even the earth, to say nothing of Ayodhya, through this innate wisdom in the shape of underestimation of your worth, born of humility that has dawned on you, my darling. Nay, coolly deliberating with your ministers, friends, and wise counselors to get through even your major concerns. Splendor would sooner depart from the moon, nay, the Himalaya mountain would sooner shed its snow, and the ocean would sooner transgress its limit than I shall violate the plighted word of my father. No matter whether all this was wrought by your mother in your interest from of affection for you or from greed of sovereignty through your installation as Prince Regent, my darling, it should not be taken to heart by you, and you should behave towards her as towards a mother. To Sri Ram, the son of Kaushalya, who was speaking as aforesaid, nay, who vied with the sun in glory, and who was pleasing to the sight as the new moon, appearing on the first day of a bright fortnight, Bharat replied as follows: Pray, stand with your feet on a pair of wooden sandals embellished with gold placed before you, O noble brother. Surely these will supply the needs and ensure the safety of men. Placing his feet on the sandals and immediately leaving them, Sri Ram, a tiger among men, who was endowed with exceptional glory, gave them to the high-souled Bharat. Reverentially bowing down to the wooden sandals, he spoke as follows to Sri Ram: Indeed, having relegated the burden of rulership to the wooden sandals, O gallant brother, I should like to live on fruits and roots alone for 14 years, O delight of the Raghus, wearing matted locks on my head and the bark of trees on my person, and actually dwelling outside the city, longing for your return to the capital, O scorcher of enemies. If, however, when the 14th year of your exile has fully ended, O jewel among Raghus, I do not see you return to Ayodhya the following day, I for my part shall enter the fire once for all. Giving his approval in the words, So be it, and embracing Bharat with love, nay, embracing Shatrughan as well, Sri Ram spoke as follows: Take care of Mother Kaikeyi, be not angry with her. You are hereby adjured to do so by me as well as by Sita, O delight of the Raghus. Saying so, his eyes suffused with tears, Sri Ram bade goodbye to Bharat. Receiving with reverence the aforesaid pair of exceedingly bright ornate wooden sandals, the celebrated Bharat, who knew what is right, went clockwise round Sri Ram, a sign of Raghu, and further placed the pair of sandals on the head of an excellent elephant. Then, paying respects in order of precedence to all those men who had gathered there, as well as to his preceptors, counselors, subjects, and two younger brothers, Bharat and Shatrughan, who were going to Ayodhya, Sri Ram, the promoter of Raghu's race, who stood by his duty unshaken like the Himalaya mountains, bade them goodbye. His mother, whose throat was choked with tears, though through agony, could not even speak to him, getting all his mothers, the celebrated Sri Ram, to re-entered his hut weeping, greeting all his mothers. Thus ends Canto 112 in the Ayodhya Kand of the glorious Ramayana of Valmiki, the work of a Rishi and the oldest epic. Jai Shri Ram.